ไปไม่นานหรอกไปเที่ยวไปดูงูดูอะไรเงี้ย
I can't get him to wear a helmet, so we can't go anywhere. Hey folks, and welcome back to Koh Chang. Welcome back to day 3. That's right, day 3. Now, if you watched the last episode, you'll remember we finished off on day 1. At the end, we went out and had a little evening out. And you might say, well, then what happened to day 2? I feel cheated. Well, not exactly. Day 2 was basically a rainy day. And to be honest, I stayed at the resort, and they had a little pavilion there and restaurant, and I sat in there and worked on the computer, and that's about it. But we're at day 3, and we're going to go out and explore if it doesn't rain like yesterday. So before we set out for the day, there's a couple little vendors right here on the side of the road by the resort. So I went and took a look, saw what they had, and I think I made a deal on a new pair of shorts there. Wear that on our adventure today. They look comfortable enough. I'm gonna need something that's comfortable. We got a lot to do, but we just decided to try to, in between the raindrops here, to go out and see what we could explore. So we started out up here. This was a little village, and this is where we met the bird lady. That's what I called her. She was sitting out front, and we just decided to stop and pick her brain for a minute and say, hey, you know, where's some neat stuff we can look at, and what do you recommend? She obviously lives here, and this was kind of like a pet bird for her, but it's a wild bird. It can fly away, go anywhere it wants, but it kind of stays here right by the bird lady. And he didn't even want to get off my bike. I finally had to drive away. But she sent us up to a hilltop here close by, said there was a good view up there, and it wasn't far. It was just less than a kilometer from where she was, and it was a decent view, I guess. And there's a resort down here that was closed, and we found these guys in that area. I think these were Navy guys, and I think they were doing what we used to call a weeds and seeds, having a weeds and seeds day. They're back there getting trimmers started. They're going to cut some grass, and these guys were pruning trees. Especially in the rainy season, these water nuts, coconuts, whatever, they really grow fast, and they can get big and heavy, and this tree is a great example. Some of these are huge up here, so they're going to pull some down. It rained all last night. It rained all this morning. It's midday, and we're out looking around. It's been raining so much. These things are big and heavy, and they probably grow quick. I don't know if that means the water inside is as good. It probably isn't, but it's still good. Yeah, there was some big ones up there. If I were to guess, some of the biggest ones, which this one isn't particularly a big one, but I think maybe some of those up there could be as much as 10 or 15 pounds, all full of water, liquid. I wouldn't want to get hit in the head by one, I'll tell you that. This guy's got my same sunglasses. When you get a lot of rain, they have more water in it, but it's not as sweet. It just doesn't have all the flavor. I think it's a lot like watermelon. In the U.S., we grow a lot of watermelon, and right after a big couple days of rain, you pick the melons. They're not as good. They're bland tasting. They're not that real rich sweetness, watermelon flavor. I think it's the same concept here. Yeah, some of these big ones they were knocking down off this tree looked to be about twice the size of the average nut that you find for sale at like the beaches and patio and so forth. He's giving me the top pulp.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad, but it is a little blander than it normally is. These guys.
So anyway, I was kind of glad the bird lady sent us up here to this lookout point, and we found this. But there was some other stuff that she told us about, but she wasn't real clear. So we'll have to do a little bit more exploring to find some of the other things she was telling us about.
Oh, go from that. So refreshing. Still full of vitamins.
So after a brief look around, we had an idea. We saw a guy over here and stopped to ask him some more specific directions, and he said, hey, he would, for a small price, he would be glad to come along with us and show us some things. I said, you know what? That takes a lot of the anxiety away from me because it could rain any minute. I'm trying to see as much as I can in the shortest amount of time. There's some specific kind of places I want to go to. This guy's going to be a tour guide. Plus, he's probably either laid off or out of work, or at least maybe thin on work to do, and he's got something to do now. So it turns out one of his favorite places on the island is this national park back here, and I will put the name and the location in the description below. But it's basically a jungle trail, 200 for foreigner, 40 baht for Thais, and you can go through the jungle. So let's go. I'll take you guys with me.
Wow. It's humid, I tell you that. You can cut it with a knife. Everything is soaking wet. It's raining for about 12, 14 hours. But it's clear now. Broke a flip-flop. The sound of the cicadas is deafening here, and I'm barefooting it. Well, we're making our way. This trail basically follows the river, and we'll see how far up we can go. This is what you can't see from the road. The road basically goes around Koh Chang. This goes up straight through the canyons and the mountains in the center of the island. And all you see on the coast is some beaches, resorts. But this is why there's nothing in the middle of Koh Chang. Imagine trying to build something back here. Plus it'd be an absolute shame to try to ruin this place. Beautiful. The mosquitoes are terrible back here too. And it's kind of the worst time during the day because that's when from what I understand, that's when the ones that carry dengue, the kind of like black and white mosquito, that's the time they are most frequently around. And I have seen some, and they're big. So if you go to put your hand here, ow, I just got a new one. Which you can see, that'll mess you up real quick. It's things like that everywhere. Things you don't want to touch, places you don't want to step. And the humidity. And the mosquitoes. All the days on the beach, kind of run together in my mind. All the different islands, all the different beaches on the different islands. But I'll remember this day. I won't confuse this with something else. I might confuse a beach on Khlong with a beach on Koh Chang Island with a beach on Koh Chang. But I'm not confusing this with anything. Behold, your future awaits.
So yeah, the trail ends right back here at this waterfall. Beautiful waterfall, very loud, and that's to be expected with all the rain we're having. Now, I don't know, during the dry season, this might not even be a waterfall, or maybe it is. Maybe it's there all year. I don't know. My first time back here. I would also maybe suspect that during normal times there would be a lot of tourists back here, especially for such a beautiful thing. But right now, let's just say, with what's going on and everything, there's not many people. It's a lot more of a, we'll just say it's a lot more of a private affair back here. But at any rate, it is something to see. It's nice. It's a good time. But it is a little bit of a hike back there through a rocky, slippery, muddy jungle trail. Yeah, so we made it back to civilization, and on our way to several other places that we want to visit, there was this another scenic lookout here. And this one you could see some islands in the distance. That was nice. And right here at this lookout point, there were monkeys. So there was that. I told the guy, I said, where I live, I've got tons of these monkeys. They only got a couple monkeys here, so no biggie there. But anyway, we'll just take a quick look here. So after the jungle trail, we're on our way to a fishing village. We just stopped here at this lookout. It was so nice to get on the bike after that sauna on the jungle trail for at least an hour. And new flip-flops. 100 baht. 100 baht flip-flops. The old ones are were a casualty. So yeah, we still had a lot of day left, and it's too much to get into on this episode. We're almost out of time, but I'll just go back and we'll look at what we did the evening before. Even though it rained all day, we had a nice meal here at the resort. The food was really good at the resort. And then later that evening, we piled in the cars and we drove all the way around to Lonely Beach. There's like a little walking street type thing on Lonely Beach, and we went into a couple of the clubs there. Had a good time. Some of them had people, some of them didn't, but it overall was very slow. And I think this was their best customer here. I saw him scarper across the floor. Tell you, big guy, probably the biggest gecko I've ever seen. I guess that's a gecko. I'm pretty sure it's a gecko. But whatever it is, it was pretty long, probably about 8 inches long. And like I said, he was the only customer here other than us, I think. But it was something nice to do in the evening, and they had a DJ, they had bands, and we had a good time overall. The next evening will be our big evening out. That'll be on the next episode. We'll see the fire show and all that stuff. So yeah, we'll pick up right back where we left off after the jungle trail on the next episode, and we still got a couple places, one of which was a really nice resort that we had a meal at, and I'll show you all that. And like I alluded to, we had a big night out at another resort close by where we were staying in White Sands. So lots to get to the next episode. Then we'll head it home. But I still do want to come here again in the dry season. Maybe, I don't know, maybe after Christmas time or something. Because it's rained both times. Now I still don't regret going. I think I got my money's worth, and I still got to see a lot of neat things. But I think I do owe myself a trip in the dry season after all this. So, at any rate, I'm going to go ahead and leave this one off here. And as usual, thank you for watching. And until next time, bye for now.